On July the 2nd night, the Russian military shelled Mykolaiv Kramatorsk district, which set fire to a specialized general education boarding school, according to the press service of the State Emergency Service headquarters in Donetsk region. They added that firefighters had isolated the fire and extinguished it completely on the second and third floors of the school. At 14:45, the rescuers completed search and rescue works on the site of the destroyed three-story specialized general education boarding school in Mykolaiv. A man's body was retrieved from under the debris, the rescuers reported. They added that one person was killed in total. According to the emergency service, they have cleared and removed about 60 tons of the building's destroyed elements since they started working. At around 5 a.m. on August the 3rd, Mykolaiv was rocked by powerful explosions. A few city districts came under fire. A supermarket was destroyed, City Mayor Alexander Sienkiewicz wrote on his official Telegram account. A fire broke out in one of the city's districts, and a supermarket was destroyed in another. Rescue operations are underway, he wrote. Information about the casualties is to be clarified. In addition, on August the 2nd, a fire started in one of Mykolaiv districts after powerful blasts around 9 p.m. They also occurred problems with electricity supply. Early on August the 3rd, Russian inflicted strikes on Holodnohirsky and Novobovarsky districts in Kharkiv, said City Mayor Igor Terehov. It is estimated that there were no casualties and fires, only destructions, the mayor reported. Early reports say that the city was fired with S-300 missiles from the territory of Russia's Belgorod region, says Oleg Sinehubov, the head of the regional military administration. In Holodnohirsky district, the enemy missile hit the ground. Another Russian missile struck a civilian industrial facility in Novobovarsky districts and damaged a building. As we know now, no one was injured, the notice says. According to Serhiy Bolvinov, the head of the investigation department at the Kharkiv region police, the strike caused a crater 3.5 meters deep and 8 meters long. There are no casualties, walls and windows are damaged, the message reads. The prosecutor's office in Kharkiv region reports that in the aftermath of the missile strike, a plant was partially destroyed in Novobovarsky district. The missile hit one of the workshops whose area is 6,000 square meters, the prosecutor's office said. In the afternoon on August the 2nd, the Russian forces shelled Oleksandrivka village in Zolochivska community, which set a detached house on fire. No one was injured, the head of the Zolochivska community Viktor Kovalenko told Suspilne. In total, 57 civilians were killed and 83 wounded in Zolochivska community since the start of the invasion. On August the 2nd, the Russian troops opened a targeted fire on a kindergarten in Stepnohirsk settlement. As we know so far, 2 shells hit the building of the daycare facility. No casualties are reported. The settlement comes under almost daily fire from the Russian side, the Zaporizhzhia Regional Military Administration reports. Near Dovhove village, the Russian forces fired an anti-tank missile on a bus with civilians. It happened at around 11:30 on August the 1st, said Oksana Kozyrenko, chairperson of the Civilian Military Cooperation Unit at Kakhovka Operational Grouping of Troops. 8 people were on the bus. The woman, born in 1983, was the youngest. There were people born in 1956, 1953, elderly people in fact. 2 people, a man and a woman, died at the scene. The rest were evacuated to a hospital in Kryvyi Rih, but 1 man died on the way to the hospital. 1 man is in a coma in a critical state. He's got 60–70% burn, head trauma, contusion and fragmentary wounds. In the opinion of Ms. Kozyrenko, the bus shelling was not accidental. Her words are supported by Yuri Sobolevsky, first deputy chairman of the Kherson Regional Council. It was planned in advance because the number of people who want to leave the temporarily occupied Kherson region are actually running away from this Russian world. It really breaks the occupation authorities' image, as if they threat someone from the Nazism, and local population is very happy with that. The queues for exit from the occupied territory irritate the occupation authorities, especially in the eve of holding their scheduled referendum, says Mr. Sobolevsky. On the night of August the 3rd, the Russian army attacked two communities of Kryvyi Rih, namely Apostolivska and Zelenodolska. In the village of Velika Kostromka, a kindergarten and a church were hit, and a power line was damaged. There are no wounded or victims, said the head of the Dnipropetrovsk Regional Military Administration, Valentin Reznichenko. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, pyrotechnicians neutralized the cluster elements from multiple rocket launchers, which remained after the shelling by the Russian troops. This was reported to the State Emergency Service of Dnipropetrovsk region. The works were carried out on August the 2nd in the territory of Kryvyi Rih, outside the city of Zelenodolsk. Pyrotechnicians identified the findings as modern cluster warheads from the Uragan rocket launcher. 11 units of explosive objects were destroyed by controlled detonation. Mandatory evacuation from Donetsk region has begun. The first train arrived in Kropyvnytsky on August the 2nd. This was announced by the Deputy Prime Minister, Minister for Reintegration of Temporarily Occupied Territories of Ukraine, Irina Vereshchuk. She added that women, children, elderly people and many people with limited mobility were evacuated to Kropyvnytsky from the Donetsk region. Everyone was met and accommodated, everyone was helped, Vereshchuk noted. We will place them in different locations, in social hostels that have already been prepared. We will also place them in schools and kindergartens, but those that will not be involved in the educational process. Over time, we will place them in private houses as well. We will use the entire housing stock not only of the regional center, but also of all district centers of the region, cities and villages. Earlier, Vereshchuk reported that mandatory evacuation of the population will begin in the Donetsk region on the eve of the heating season. There is no gas supply in the Donetsk region. They have repaired all the gas furnaces that could be repaired, but unfortunately the enemy repeatedly destroys everything that could warm people in the winter. There is no proper electricity supply, Irina Vereshchuk said, adding that there will be no heat in the Donetsk region in the winter. According to Vereshchuk, under the current conditions, mandatory evacuation is allowed by law. In total, at least 220,000 people will have to be evacuated from the Donetsk region. Ukrzaliznytsia has done everything to ensure that there are free seats, separate cars, there will be as many cars as needed. We have to evacuate 50,000 children. Bakhmut, Kramatorsk, Slavyansk, the entire unoccupied part. We are also waiting for people from the occupied part. People will have the opportunity to refuse evacuation in writing, notes Irina Vereshchuk. By signing, the person confirms that he understands all the dangers and will bear personal responsibility for his life.